Shadowing. Just like the masked children wear every October 31st, Halloween itself has worn many different phases in its enchanting 3,000 years history. The Halloween we know today all started here in the rocky, green hills and magical landscapes of Ireland. Centuries before Christ, a tribe of warriors called the Celts lived throughout the British Isles and throughout France. On the roaming shores of the Irish Sea, the Celts formed an agricultural community, and like any people who lived off the earth, nature could be friend or foe. They were at the mercy of the elements, and winter was the scariest time of all. To the early Celts, that was what you had was all you got. There was no way you were getting more. And as the dark days came in, they would look to the winter with a certain amount of trepidation. And it became a time when you faced your mortality and the mortality of the community. It became relevant. As winter approached, the Celts asked their priests, known as Druids, to pray for them. And the most important night of prayers occurred late in fall, the last day of the harvest, and the first day of the dark point. On that night, the Celts believed that the boundary between the world of the living and the spirit world was unusually thin, so thin that the souls of the dead could roam free back and forth. That night was enormously important to the Celts. They called it Samhain, Gaelic for November. Samhain represents the transition from the summer to the winter. In the transitional times, the times between the light and the dark, dusk and dawn, were very magical times to the Celts. Weird things could happen at these times that don't happen at other times. On Samhain night only, the Celts believed that those who had died in the last year walked the earth once more. But not every visiting ghost was friendly, so the Celts devised a way to appease the spirits. It comes from this very archaic sense of the dead return. You have to placate them, you have to do something with them, or they might return and stay. They might trouble you, haunt you in various ways. To appease these spirits, the Celts would parade out to the edge of the villages with offerings trying to coax the evil forces away from their homes. They would leave food and sweets outside as gifts for the dead, the tradition that would eventually become trick-or-treating. The dead come back to life on Halloween, and that's why there's a great fear of the dead around Halloween. And many of the devices and practices and customs in Halloween in Europe were attempts to keep the dead in their graves. The Celts believed that the gods controlled the sun, and the shortening days were a sign of their awesome power. So they built bonfires to honor those gods and to pray for the return of the sun. To thank the earth for giving up her bounty at harvest time, the Celts offered the gods blood sacrifices. Cows, horses, and other animals were thrown onto huge bonfires. The sacrifice was something that had to be offered back. If the earth had given up her riches in every way, then the early Celts would consider it impolite to offer back some of their own life essence to the earth. This life essence offered clues to the future. Druids would read the bird entrails that the animals like tea leaves, defining who would die in the coming year. Samhain night was a curtain into the netherworld, was considered the best of night of all to predict the future. They had to know it was a good time to move, who was going to be alive, who was going to die, the leader was going to be healthy for another year. So they looked into the future that night, because that was the night for the changing seasons, when the spirits came alive and may have answers. The prophecies that the Druids read were spread through the villages, coming stories come long into the night. This is thought to be one of the origins of telling ghost stories on Halloween. These ancient Celtic traditions live on among the new pagans of Ireland. After that, the sun, the earth, the star, and
And without the earth, the sun has no purpose. These pagans